Joining us now to further discuss the negotiations between the Big Three and the union is Marick Masters, professor of management at Wayne State's Mike Ilitch School of Business. Marick, GM laid out their counteroffer today. The UAW rejected it within hours, calling it insulting. We saw what Ford was offering. We heard in Andres' report right there. Where do you think things stand, in your opinion, as you hear everything going on at this hour?
Well, they're far apart. I would doubt that Stellantis would come with a proposal that would move that much closer to what the UAW would like. So the parties are far apart and they have a lot of territory to cover. The proposals are noteworthy not only for what they mention, but what they don't mention, which indicates there's a lot of distance on other issues that are not part of the proposals. So it's going to be very difficult to get an agreement by September the 14th, barring anything unexpected.
What will it take to reach a deal? We know Ford, they've secured a $4 billion line of credit. They're saying they're training thousands of workers to staff other depots. What's it going to take?
Well, I think it's going to take some economic pressure at this point in time. It's going to be a test of economic will and power. I think that's the only way that you're going to get the parties to concede what needs to be conceded to find an agreement.
In your opinion at all, do you think any of this is the companies and Shawn Fain, the head of the UAW, grandstanding here? I mean, there's still a week to go, and both sides have said, look, there's still the possibility here that things could get done, as much as the UAW is threatening to strike and as much as Ford and the other companies are preparing for a potential strike.
I think this is a situation more akin to where the parties have fundamentally different interests that are hard to reconcile, and their proposals reflect those different interests. And so they're going to have to find some way of sorting through these differences and finding a common path to go forward. Otherwise, they're going to be at loggerheads for a long period of time.
The word insulting keeps being used. Is any of this actually insulting, or is this just the rhetoric they're using to get their point across?
I think that goes with the territory and bargaining. The language is harsh. I think Shawn Fain has deliberately decided that he's not going to play easy with them. He's going to keep the pressure up, the public pressure as well as the pressure at the table. So this is to be expected. And probably management is best not to pay too much attention to it.
Look, while Fain has been very strong and very dominant in what he has said, you can kind of sense within the last few days, this week in particular, it sounds as if he admits that they're going to have to make some concessions if the UAW is indeed going to get something done.
Well, I think the closer they get to a strike, and if they should engage in a strike, the longer that lasts, the more realistic they'll be about the kinds of concessions that need to be made to get a deal. Because obviously, nobody wins in a prolonged strike.
How's this impacting all of us consumers?
Well, I think we're watching with interest about what happens. Ultimately, there will be a serious economic impact. Workers will start feeling the loss in wages. They're used to getting well over $1,000 a week. They're going to go down to $500 a week. And then you have the suppliers who are going to have their businesses shut down, perhaps because of the auto companies not ordering things. And then the auto companies eventually, after they deplete their inventory, are going to begin to lose sales, and they're going to have to make up for that. Ford, for example, you can estimate probably produces about 150,000 cars in the U.S. a month. And therefore, they're going to lose that, and they're not going to be able to make that up until sometime in the future. So the longer the strike, the higher the costs for everybody involved, including the communities.
You still think we're headed toward a strike, though?
I think it's going to be very difficult to avoid at this juncture. I'm an optimist by nature. I'd like to think that they can come through a breakthrough, but it's going to take a breakthrough and a few quick moves after that breakthrough to get an agreement.
All right, thank you so much. Wayne State University Management Professor Marick Masters.